Hey, I'm Nat Ermson, welcome to Fantastic Nature Adventures, and today I'm going to be looking for some frogs. I'm here in Maine, and I'm going to be looking for a bunch of frogs. Hopefully we can find a bunch of different species of frogs. There's like a ton of different species of frogs that live in this area, and we have all of this sort of lake, marshy area over here. I'm on a hammock right now actually, but I can get up and look around for some really cool species of frogs. This is a young, I think male green frog. And you can tell he's a male because he has a very distinct green head. And green frogs get a lot bigger than this. They can get to be about, maybe even, not that big, but you know, decent size. Sort of like a small bullfrog. Really small little pickerel frog here. One of the smallest frog species that's out here. This is actually not full grown, but there's a lot of these little guys out here. And pickerel frogs are actually, as you can see it, one of the more beautifully colored frog species. Oops, they'll be okay. You can get down in there, they've got sort of this goldish, brownish striping. Oh, right here, baby toad. It's actually a really good comparison between toads and frogs. So this is a little toad right here. And this is actually going to grow up to be one of those big, fat American toads that people, you know, little kids will catch in their yards and that kind of thing. This is one of those tiny, tiny little baby toads right now. He's still got poison in his glands. He's obviously, you know, not going to be fatal to me, but he, you know, is still poisonous. And luckily the animals around here know not to eat this guy because he's got these little poison glands on his body. Actually, pick him up one more time. If you see those two little bumps behind his head, people think those are kind of like warts. Those are actually where his poison glands are. And they get bigger and bigger, but these guys are just as poisonous as the adults. And basically, they have these poison glands behind their head, and if an animal bites down, this sort of white mucousy poison will kind of exude from their skin. So it's an incredibly good thing. See if we can find the other creatures. Barely got him here. I was just telling Miles, my cameraman, that there are some big frogs in this grassy patch. And this is a relatively large pickerel frog. I mean, they do get even bigger than this. This is maybe medium size. Those small ones are definitely full grown, not full grown, sorry, adults, but they're not full grown. Oh look, there's a green frog right on that bottom of that paddle boat. I might even want to try to catch it actually. So actually we can just sort of see the comparison between these two species of frogs. You can see the difference. It's pretty easy, it's night and day. Obviously this one is, actually this one can get about the same size as that one. And also, by the way, the green frog, the larger they get, the males, the greener their heads are gonna get. So this guy, his head is green, but it's not super vibrant green. But if I can catch this guy, which I easily can, you can see sort of the green under the lip. This actually might even be a female. Actually, I'm not sure, but either way, he or she is not super green. So you can tell she's still sort of in that young adult stage of their lives. This pickerel is a little older, obviously. They get to be about the same size. Let's see about the hopping distance. And I didn't mention it when I was holding it, but you can see pickerel frogs have very bright yellow legs. Not a huge toad, but decent-sized American toad. These guys are super easy to catch because of how slow they are and how short they hop. You can even see they just don't hop as fast or as far as frogs do. And as I caught this guy earlier, you can see the Nose glands, and his head right there. That's basically how they exude their poison. So this guy, you know, if a snake king bit him, the snake would be dead. Obviously, I don't want to eat a toad, and every time I handle a toad, I always want to wash my hands before eating something. But obviously, people know most toads can get even bigger than that. They can get quite large. That's sort of a medium-sized one. We found a lot of medium-sized amphibians here. We found a medium-sized toad, a medium-sized pickerel frog, and a medium-sized green frog. Hopefully we can find some real big ones. Okay, so this is a spring peeper. This is actually one of the loudest species of frogs in North America. They are just famous for their spring peeper call. And the spring peeper has these tiny little toe pads on his fingers. And for the longest time, scientists thought that this was actually a species of tree frog because of those little toe pads. But this is actually in the chorus frog family. Now, chorus frogs, sorry, it's a little hard to film him because he is such a active, frantic species of frog. Luckily he's staying on my arm, but he could jump at any second. There's mosquitoes buzzing all around me as well. Now he's over here. Basically, these little toe pads made him, or this species, made scientists think that he was a species of tree frog. He's actually in the chorus frog family. You can actually see that sort of hanging behavior with just one toe. That's actually pretty crazy. And the spring peeper, of course, is, well, if you don't live in the Northeast, you might not know who he is, but I don't know why you keep calling him he. This species is one of the most famous species of frogs in the northeastern United States. And this is not a full-grown one. They can get relatively larger than this. They're not gonna get massive or anything. You know, I'm trying to be very gentle with him. He's actually playing dead right now. You might think he's actually dead. He's not dead. So don't worry, guys. I know how to handle frogs, and the spring peeper is no exception, even though he is one of the more delicate species out here. The spring peeper has incredible camouflage. You guys can see that he has this sort of mottled brown coloration, and that blends in perfectly with all this pine substrate. And look at that. Look at those toe pads. That's all because of the toe pads that stick. That is a crazy level of stickiness, and no wonder scientists thought this is a tree frog species. But anyway, this species, not easy to find because it lives in the woods. And in the woods, finding frogs is always harder than finding them by a pond or anything like that. But anyway, spring peeper has always been one of my favorite species of frogs. Certainly, probably the cutest species of frog out here, honestly. I mean, look at that guy. Look at his little face. Oh, he doesn't want to show his face in the camera, but he's a little cutie. Okay, that was cringe. That was
Certified cutie.
that was actually cringe.
No, I like it.
He's a cute little guy. We're gonna let this guy hop off of my finger and go about his day. These guys are eating all these bugs that are flying around my face every time. But yeah, just a really beautiful little species of frog, and you know, a really nice woodland inhabitant. This is a wood frog. This is a rare species around here. Got it. Got it. Alright, wood frogs are not common around here. They're much more common further south in New York, but here they are quite rare. And another thing I love about the wood frogs here, see this sort of, well, this is all chopped up, but see this little wood here, how it's kind of reddish? It's got the same sort of reddish color. Wood frogs are masters of camouflage. and I wouldn't have seen him unless he jumped. And wood frogs are actually a species that was not even on my radar when I was thinking of frogs to find out here. And this is one of the few species that is really quite rare out here. And I really just had to jump for him there because there was this big stump right here and I didn't want to trip on it. But this guy is you can see how he's very kind of scared of me, my cameraman with the camera, everything around here. He's afraid. He's kind of almost sort of tucked up under me. And this guy, you can see, has this very distinctive brownish, like dark brown patches on the side of his face. And that's one of my favorite features of the wood frog, is their dark brown patches. And unlike most frogs, this species, you're never gonna find them near water, at least not near a pond. You're always gonna find them in the woods. And that's actually why they're called wood frogs, because they have this sort of wood coloration and they blend perfectly in with all this wood substrate in the forest. Let's see how far he can jump. This is not a huge wood frog, but it is a decent sized one. And there he goes. You can see he jumps way faster than the toads and even some of the other frogs that are back at the pond. But that was a good catch.